Well, good evening, everybody. It's good to be here. This probably is not going to interest a whole lot of people. I have a friend of mine that I'm looking at here on my tablet. He was what I call a very dear and close friend of mine. I got news today that he passed away. He was somebody that was very dear to my heart. To a lot of people, his name was Curley. This is one of the hardest videos I'll make, but it's actually one of the easiest I will make because I know of the truth that I happen to know in this individual. I never went to his house. I knew his wife. I found out today where he lived. I want to show you a picture of him. That's the picture of my friend. I want to tell you more about him as I go along. I won't be able to hold this up. And this here will cut off in just a second anyway, so. It was back on April the 1st. I had made a short taping. It was only actually 19 seconds. And I don't have the video here where I could play it live in front of you, but he had a title of a message that really hit my heart, and I never got rid of them 19 seconds of his words that he was saying. He started out, the title of the message was Given Power to Have Power. Given power to have power. I believe that I can honestly say that the Lord gave him the power that he needed to be the person of who he was. And given power to have power, he let it be known that the message was by the author, Jesus Christ, and it would be delivered by him, and his name is Curley. He made that little 19-minute little clip that I left on my phone back on April 1st. We made it at 10 minutes after 4 in the afternoon. I would go down and I would visit him. And there would be times that there would be a little bit of contention. But I began to hear what he was saying, and I would listen to what he was saying. And a lot of the things that he was saying made a whole lot of sense. Now, there's a few things that I still to this day don't understand, but I know that he does. I don't know the details of what happened to him. I went down and visited with him. Tonight is early Sunday morning on the 12th of September. And he died on September 11th. I went down, I think it was the 9th of September, to go sit with him for several hours. We read the Bible together. He always would take time to hear me out, and I would hear him out, and it would be a release for him, and it would be a release for me. Everything that we would tell one another would stay in confidence. He knew that I wouldn't go and blab anything that he would say to somebody else. But I can honestly say, and I had to pin some of this down to keep it in check. He was a very humble guy. Now, you had to know him. He had military experience. He had a little bit of college training. He exhibited the word humility. He was very humble. One of the things that I would remember him doing, he owned his own mechanic shop. And during the day, during business hours, he would play the Bible so that anybody that would show up at his shop would hear the scripture. And that there is a picture to me of humility. He wasn't ashamed of God's word. He had Bibles on the little table that would sit in front of his window where you would pick up your keys and pay the bill. And he would have a little card table like deal that would have Bibles on it, and we would take them Bibles and we would use them Bibles. He knew that I wasn't just putting on, and I certainly feel that he was not putting on. And I think he knew that. Me and him had got very, very close when it comes to our friendship. It was a joy to go down and just talk to him, even though that there was things he would say that it would make me wonder. And I'm certainly not the smartest cookie in the box, but I happen to know a lot of the Bible and some of the key verses of the Bible. And there would be things that he would say that would make me think and make me wonder. And he was always there to try to put his opinion on things. But he was very humble. He never made you to see it his way. He loved his Lord. I can say that. He loved his Lord. I don't know of anybody that would love the Lord any better. Does that make him perfect? No. It doesn't make him perfect, but he loved the Lord. He would serve the Lord. He was about one of the most honest business people you would ever meet. He would do what he would say he would do. He had some of his favorite customers that he would really take care of. And he would take care of them. He was honest in his business dealings and things that he had did. I mean, he was definitely a one-of-a-kind, honest individual. He was open with his testimony. He was not the kind of person that would keep the testimony away. He would have plenty of people that would go up there that he would quiz, and they would even quiz him. There would be times I would go up there and he was already hot and heavy with the conversation. He didn't need my help. I sat over there and kept my mouth shut, and I observed some of the things that he was saying. And no doubt the people was there to listen, but his testimony was a very unique testimony. He didn't care if anybody liked his testimony. Curley was not that type of person that really cared about what anybody else thought. I like that about him. He had a deep passion for all people. He was never a type of person that would ever be racist to anybody. He had full understanding of every person that would come in there, far as them being a person that deserved respect. He was always very respectful to everybody that he dealt with, and that's hard to do at times. That is definitely hard to do at times. His convictions was honest. I didn't always agree with everything that he said, but his convictions was always honest. You knew where he stood. And in time, I would come around to understanding what made him tick. I've got a Timex watch right here hanging on the nail beside my phone. And I've got this watch up here. I don't really know what makes this watch work. And to be honest with you, sitting here tonight, I really don't know what made Curley tick. But I do believe that it was nothing but the grace and the love of God. Because his conviction was honest. He saw people in the condition of being lost. But he seemed to look deeper than just a person being lost. He seemed to know how to size up someone. And that takes a certain amount of spiritual talent to do that. He was himself. He was himself. I can say that. Looking back on it now, after being heartbroken today of hearing the news of someone that I talked to 2 days ago for 2 hours at length. You know, had I would have known that that was going to hit him, I believe I would have followed him home and stayed with him. But, you know, that wouldn't have prevented what happened to him. He was himself. That's who he was. He was never someone else. You've always met the same Curley. Every time you go down there, You didn't ever see him have a change of demeanor or nothing like that. He was just the same person all the time. This is where it might get a little bit rough. He was tired of religion. Curley wasn't a religious person, even though that a lot of places he went, a lot of places he attended, a lot of places and people that he knew, he could see the games that would be playing. And he would spot the games that would be playing. And the reason I say he was tired of religion, he let me know that 2 days ago. He didn't come right out and say that he was tired of religion, but you could almost see it in his demeanor that he was tired of religion because he saw that religion wasn't helping anybody. And I believe I'm only speaking on behalf of him tonight because our conversation is that he was wanting to do a video. And I explained to him that it would be easy to do for him to let me know when he wanted me to come over and to be able to make the video. And I tried to give him some pointers and some guidance and some ideas. And he listened to everything that I said. But it was almost, looking back at it now, that his time was coming up. I didn't see it at the moment. None of us can see that official day coming for all of us. Hebrews 9:27 says it's appointed unto man once to die. And when I got that phone call today, I was broken. Am I broken at the fact that the Lord took him? No. I'm broken at the fact that somebody that I talked to a lot during the week is no longer there. I wouldn't trade where he's at today for nothing in the world. I wouldn't trade it because I know, in my opinion, I know of where he is. He was tired of religion. I will say this, I don't know that he would maybe agree totally with this, but he's at home. He's at home. He has arrived. He wasn't exactly sure what waited the person when the person dies. That was one of the things that I found it the most hardest to accept. But I believe today he knows exactly where he's at. And he wouldn't trade nothing to come back because his race is done. He's home and he's at rest. Now, you know, he died Saturday morning, far as I know, of what little bit I found out about. His heart just quit. I felt so empty. But he's at rest. He was my friend. Did we always see things eye to eye. No, I think that was part of his friendship to me. He saw where I had come from, and he was my friend. He didn't ever try to change me to think the way he did. He always had his opinion. He always had his frame of mind. But he never really tried to make me see it his way. Honestly, he really didn't care. He was always who he was. He was himself. I can say that. He was himself. He was my friend. You know, I've got a lot of friends, but he was a friend. Is he any different than a lot of my other friends that I have? Not really. He was unique in his own character, though. Just like my other friends has a uniqueness about them. But here's the happy point. Even with me shedding tears tonight in front of the camera, here's the happy point. I'll see him again soon. I'll see him again soon. I don't believe it's long. I believe the Lord saw a little bit of the fact that he was tired. I think I had mentioned that up here. He was tired of religion. He had it up to right there. And you know what? Religion don't help anybody. A lot of times religion disguises what the real issue really is. So he lived his life. He was faithful. He was a caring person. He believed in prayer. Matter of fact, I will say this. In his little private little area in his shop, he had a trunk. And in that trunk is where he had put papers, cut up pieces of paper in that trunk of his prayer request. And I think it was like every morning when he opened his business that he would learn about a situation, whether maybe it was a friend or family or somebody in the church. I know that he's done it even for me at times, that I would have a concern and he would write it on a piece of paper and put it in that trunk. And you know what? That trunk is still sitting there tonight. And you know, there's a lot of prayer requests that is in that trunk. He never went in to examine the papers. He just stuck the papers on top of one another. There would be a book that you could write of all the stuff that is in that trunk that man would not care one bit about. Somebody that would get that trunk full of them papers would throw it away or take it to the dump. But see, God valued every request that he wrote down in that trunk. And that trunk, the last time he opened it in front of me, that thing was a good 3/4 of the trunk full. This wasn't just a few on the bottom. It wasn't just a couple of hundred. It was probably a couple of thousand. Only God knows what was written down on them papers. So I'm going to miss my friend. Next time I want to go down to the mechanic shop, I'm going to miss that relationship that we had. But I'll see him again soon. I'll see him again soon. I hope that if you've got a friend We don't know when death is going to come. I would hope that if something was ever happened to me, that mine would be just that quick. But I don't know. Forgive me if I was too emotional. I don't mean to really be. Just think of somebody that you can think of that would mean that much to you. What happens when they go home? What happens when they leave this world? He was saved and he was ready to go. And tonight you can be saved. All you got to do is call me. Elderly Ministry is the website. You can get a hold of me here. I'll be glad to talk with you here. I don't see where my other paper is on the YouTube, but the YouTube is KWT 32040. KWT 32040. There's a phone number there that you can reach. elderlyministry.com is the website. Leave a message when you call, and I'll be glad to call you back, okay? Thank y'all for tolerating this. I appreciate it very much.